the head of nursing in Bahrain, they've released quite a few females, but they continue to bring them back in for trial and so on. But the head of nursing in Bahrain, whom I don't know, but she's been incarcerated since March. She claims that she was tortured, she was blindfolded, made to sign a confession. That poor woman is terrified, out of her mind, in jail. And the Irish Nurses Organisation here very quickly responded with a press release. In fairness to Sheila Dixon and Liam Doran, they were on the ball and they very quickly joined the call. The Irish Medical Organisation have not made a public statement. I think they're having a committee meeting this week, I think, to discuss the situation.
And does the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland get money from the government of Bahrain?
Again, how they do their business, I don't know.
Let me come back another way, Damien. I know you're trying to be very diplomatic, and there is a bigger picture here, and I take that point. But have they issued a statement, the RCSI? Have they managed?
The RCSI issued a statement that they were an apolitical organisation, and that they did not get involved in this kind of thing. I don't accept that anymore, Joe. I did for 3 months, but they had a conferring ceremony in Bahrain last week as the court case was ongoing, and they invited the Prime Minister, and they had people in military uniform and pictures of the Prime Minister on the wall and so on. And it was very much, it was evident that there was some military or some political stuff on the wall. And I think for the families of the detained nurses and doctors and ambulance men, and for the families of the protesters who've died, that kind of insensitivity is very disappointing.
Just let me catch you again, Damon. You're saying the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland had a conferring ceremony in Bahrain last week?
Yes.
So you're
on the day of the trial of the doctors.
And did anyone speak about it, mention it?
At the conferring?
Yeah.
I doubt it. I don't believe so.
Well, imagine if we had a conferring at the medical school in Trinity, for example, and 48 medics from UCD who had been trained in UCD were on trial under the prospect of sentence to death because they worked in St. Vincent's Hospital during a riot.
Precisely, Joe.
That is shocking beyond belief.
Well, we would be told, Joe, that it's complicated, and of course it's complicated. But human rights, to my mind, and I'm a simple doctor, Joe, I'm a simple orthopedic surgeon, but to my mind, it's torture, human rights abuses don't require debate. You simply stand up and you say, this is not right. We're not taking sides. We don't care who's doing it, be it the Americans in Guantanamo Bay or be it the Bahrainis in their jails. It's not right. And you have to maybe suffer the consequences of saying those things, but they have to be said. And I think now there's been enough time for quiet diplomacy. Now it's time to just shout out. You cannot sentence Ali Lekri to a death sentence for treating protesters. The world won't buy it, Joe, and Bahrain needs to hear this clearly. The world won't accept Bahrain as a civilized country again.
You're saying that, but on the other hand, the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland went out last week and organised a ceremony. I know they've had a long relationship with Bahrain. I don't know if our president has been there in the past, but they've had a long relationship with Bahrain. But you said he went out last week and had a conferring ceremony in Bahrain with military personnel present, the Prime Minister of the country present, who's called for the death sentence on one of these medics, while down the road 48 doctors
and nurses,
some of whom trained and were conferred by the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, are under the prospect of sentence of death for doing their job that the RCSI trained them for.
That's the reality. They're the facts. That's the facts, Joe. I think people have to draw their own conclusions from that. It's not for me to say. I don't think I need to say. But they're the facts.
Michael just wants to, I know, and I'm very conscious that, Damien, that you're very, very busy as well, but Michael just wants to make a quick point in support of you. Michael, 51551. Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to compliment Damien and yourself, Joe, our Liveline, Liveline team, for bringing this to the public attention, because it's getting very, very little coverage in any of the major press.
Well, did you know the Royal College of Surgeons went out last week, lock, stock and barrel?
I heard Damien mention this. No, I didn't know about the presentation last week, but I heard Damien speaking about this, and he's done a great job in trying to get attention to these unfortunate medics, people, who are only doing their best to look after people injured on the street. I mean, doctors are required to do that by their oath, etc., etc. But the real thing here is, so it's got so little coverage, and it's kind of been, this is one place where it's been swept under the carpet. So we hear a lot about Syria. We hear a huge amount about what's happening in Libya. The British and the French are sending in their forces. They're doing all this. But there's hardly a word of even condemnation against what's happening.
Apparently some of the 48 medics that are now on trial in this military court, they were eyewitnesses saw them weeping on the day as they tried to deal and treat the injured with gunshot wounds. They said the catastrophic wounds, the like of which the doctors had never seen before, and they just walked away trying to help them. And it's for that they now face the prospect of the death sentence.
It's absolutely outrageous that people should be treated like that for doing their job and for showing compassion to people that have been injured. I mean, it's quite obvious that the doctors and nurses in this particular case are not taking sides; they're just doing their job. But it's incredible that we get so much non-stop coverage of what's going on in Libya. Non-stop, every hour you get what's going on in Libya, and what's happening down to these people down there in Bahrain is unbelievable that it should be swept under the carpet. It's left to one or two people here in Ireland to try and get some attention for it.
Professor McCormack, what can Irish people do?
I think there are several things. There are several things about to happen. I'm hoping to go out there with a delegation in the next couple of weeks. If they let us. They may not let us. Avril Power, who's a senator, has agreed to come, and one or two other individuals have promised to come. Marian Harkin has spoken about this in Europe. And we're trying to demonstrate solidarity with the families and with the medics and nurses. That's important, if nothing else. And hopefully speak to some of the officials there and point out to them clearly that this can't be.
Damien, I'm thinking, I know again we do not need an Irish connection such as the depravity of what's happening here, but you mentioned that Ali, one of Ali's children, was born. Are any of them Irish citizens?
I'm not sure if he's got an Irish passport. He may well have, actually. And if Ali is not executed, if we get him out of jail, I'm not sure what his future is in Bahrain. In fact, I'm not sure what the future of Bahrain is, and that's the bigger picture, really. But I would hope that the Irish government would look favourably on these. We've an acute shortage of doctors in this country suddenly, and there possibly would be a role for offering them asylum. They may not want it. They may not want to leave their country, but I think we have to show some solidarity with these people.
Okay. Appreciated, Damien, and I know you're in Temple Street at the minute, aren't you? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and you're going into surgery?
Yes,
and you were operating this morning as well. Okay, thanks for raising that issue. Thanks, Michael, as well, for raising that issue. And that's Professor Damian McCormack, Professor of Orthopaedics, among other places, at Temple Street Hospital.